Happy New Day, everyone. My name is Asiya, and this is my testimony on my first year of deconditioning through the human design system. I am a 1-3 manifesting generator. My incarnation cross is the cross of laws. And my strategy is to inform and respond. And my inner authority is my sacral center. I first learned about human design in June of 2014. And it literally walked into my front door. When I saw the body graph for the first time, I knew it was something interesting, but I didn't really get into it because I didn't understand it and I didn't have anyone at the time to explain it to me. So it was like I saw it, made a mental note, and didn't think about it again. 3 months later, the person who walked through my door 3 months prior with the human design information told me about some people that she knew, and 3 months after I saw her, I actually ended up in those people's house. And I put two and two together and I asked them if they knew this particular person, and they said yes. And that's when I realized that, wow, this system is stalking me. Yeah, I didn't go looking for human design at all. I had never heard of it. It found me twice in 3 months, and I knew it wasn't a coincidence. And from that point forward, I dove deep, and I started doing research on the internet, and I got connected with some people and was able to get material to help me learn more than what I could find on the internet. And that was in September of 2014, and here I am a year plus later, and it's been a ride. Definitely a ride. One of the most profound things about human design is, for me, is realizing that I have two personalities. Well, we all do. Your conscious personality and then your unconscious design. It was mind-blowing once I started to put the pieces together, because I didn't understand it at first. And it's actually only recently, in the last few months, that something just clicked about the personality and the design, even though the whole time I've been aware of the conscious and the unconscious. I learned about my unconscious aspect on a whole nother level, and I felt a lot of dismantling taking place within inside of me. I felt a lot of barriers being broken down, a lot of memories from the past, situations that I went through, people that were in my life, a lot of things that I thought I had forgotten started coming to the surface, and I started gaining clarity on things that were energetically unfinished, I guess, in my life. And I found my own way of simplifying understanding my personality and my design. My personality is an investigator. That's the one. And it's a Cancer. I'm a Cancer investigator, a July investigator. And my design is a martyr, the 3. And I am a Aries martyr. So I'm a April martyr. And when I started learning, I've never been into astrology too much, in the zodiac. So I knew nothing about Aries and that particular part of the year. And when I started looking into the astrological aspects of the information, it helped me to grasp what was really going on from a simplified version. Because sometimes the human design information is, even though I understand it, I wanted to be able to explain it in a way that was easier for other people to understand. So I just kind of went to the zodiac to help myself understand so that I could relay the message. And learning about my body from that perspective was profound. And it wasn't easy. It was an enlightening discovery. Well, it never ends, but just when I initially got hit, it was very enlightening. But I felt so many feelings of embarrassment. I felt feelings of I just wanted to apologize to so many people because I had no idea that people were seeing me as this unconscious aspect of myself. I didn't know that. All I knew was that I was born in July. I'm a Cancer. So to find out that everybody in my life has been getting this Aries energy from me, along with the Cancer energy, and to learn about how Aries is all about starting things off and not really having the understanding that it doesn't have the understanding of not being first. It humbled me a lot because I had people tell me before that I have an energy that kind of runs people over. That I'm a go-getter and I'm ambitious and, all of these different things. But I was aware of that. Like, I've seen it throughout my whole life, but it's so amazing how you really don't identify with with your body. You don't identify with the body because it's unconscious. You're only conscious of your personality. So it was like, wow, for 31 years, I've been this ram, I've been just ramming people with my energy and just, really destroying a lot of things in the process. My energy as a martyr, Aries, is designed to dismantle things that don't prove to be a solid foundation. And one of the things that I never understood about myself throughout my whole life was why I had so many short-term relationships. It's like I've been just, it's like a never ending story for me. Just from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It's like I'm never in anything for long. And I remember years ago, I said to myself that I don't think I'm designed to get married or, be in a long-term relationship. I knew that, I wanted to have children, but I couldn't fathom being in a traditional relationship like what we see in the world these days. And to find out instantly that it's because I'm a martyr. It's because I'm designed for trial and error. I'm designed to go through many different things because I have to find out what doesn't work. And the only way that a martyr can find out what doesn't work is by going through many different things in life until it finds something that it doesn't naturally have to destroy. So the theme for the martyr being bonds made and broken, it was just like, it was a relief for me to learn that information. But at the same time, it was like, wow, that's discouraging. But it really did feel much more satisfying to my insecure mind to know that I had the answer, something that has haunted me my whole life. I have the proof, I have the answer as to why it's happened. And being an investigator personality, just the combination of the 1-3 profile, it's all I know, of course, because that's who I am. Is my design, it's my mechanics. But to also find out that I am the 1-3 profile is the most self-absorbed profile. I mean, just all of my life, I didn't have this information. And I started thinking about all of the things that I could have avoided in life if I would have had human design from the beginning. But of course, I know that everything happens by divine design, and it was meant for human design to come into my life at the time that it did, and for me to have certain experiences and make certain mistakes so that I could have a timeline, a 31-year timeline to reflect on after coming into this knowledge, to be able to see that this is proof, this is real, this is the truth. And it has nothing to do with spirituality, it has nothing to do with religion or, any of that. It's just simply the numbers, the lines, the shapes, and the colors that make each person a unique individual. And it also made me understand why I've always been focused on survival. I've learned other aspects of my human design that deal specifically with being an individual, being self-absorbed, being focused on survival, and getting to the bottom of things so that I can share that information with other people. And to see that my path, like everything that I did that I just thought was terrible and huge mistakes and traumatic events, everything literally was accounted for after, learning just the surface level information about myself. So I felt reunited. The way that I felt it inside of me, I looked at it as, when you hear people in the world saying they're trying to find themselves, or they're soul searching, or they're looking for answers as to why they keep doing the same things over and over again, or why they can't get out of certain habits, why they can't keep certain people in their lives, just so many different things. It's like, I recognize that it's because everyone is unconscious that what they think is completely separate from their body. Your body has its own personality. It's a whole entity within itself. And your personality is in your body. Your personality is supposed to be the viewer of what the body is doing. It's supposed to be interpreting and being the commentator for what your body is naturally doing. Because you don't have to think to make your heart beat. You don't have to think to itch. You don't have to think to use the bathroom. All of the things that your body does on its own, it has nothing to do with your mind. So looking at it like that, it makes it easier for a lot more people to understand in a simplified way that, yes, you have two different aspects of you that are at work. And one of those aspects, which is the driving force, your body, you're unaware of. And to feel myself, to feel my investigator and my martyr, start to come together and get aligned, it's changed everything. It's changed everything in my life. And it's just the beginning. Deconditioning is a 7-year process, and I'm only in year 1. And what I've experienced in this first year has been mind-blowing. So I can't even imagine what the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and the rest of my life is going to be like, as I continue to become more correct within myself and more aligned with who I am as a unique individual. Human design is something that I'm studying, I'm looking into pretty much on a daily basis. I've been looking into hundreds of charts, and my database of human design charts grow by the day. And I know human design is I know that I'm here to share this information. So it's been amazing to see the pattern, like each one of us is a pattern, and I tell people that human design is the breakdown of your fingerprint. Everyone, when you're born, the first thing that happens, for the most part, is that your fingerprint is, your hands and your feet are printed on a piece of paper, and that is your barcode. Almost, that is what identifies you as that particular human being. And it's a geometrical pattern. That fingerprint is what makes you stand out from everybody else. So human design is just the expanded version and breakdown of your fingerprint, of your unique geometry. So it's your frequency. You have each person has a specific frequency that they are. It's so funny. The more that I study, the more that I go deeper into this information to see how, the relationship between the generator and the projector, to see how projectors just get trapped, you know, in the generator's energy, and generators, you know, they don't even realize that they're trapping the projector. And it's like, it was the same pattern. It would be, you know, a projector getting trapped in my energy, me making the bond and enjoying the energy, but because I didn't know that, okay, I have to release the projector from my aura, it's like eventually there will be like this bond breaking that would never reconnect, you know, or it would be a very long time, because, you know, a projector being in a generator's aura too much, there's automatically going to be conflict, whether it's expressed verbally, physically, energetically, whatever. Is always going to be conflicting. And just to see the pattern, you know, and just to see that, wow, like all of my relationships, you know, all of my friendships, everything was just, it was so, I was helpless in it. I was unconscious. I didn't know. They didn't know. Nobody knew what was really going on. It was just, my geometry is set up a certain way to attract these type of geometries, and vice versa. Now, I'm living my life completely differently. You know, I've been following my strategy and my inner authority. And definitely not all the time. You know, when you get into the human design and you start to listen to whatever your inner authority is and follow your strategy, you're not gonna do it every single time. You know, it's a process, because we've been conditioned, you know, to make moves and to make decisions based on what the mind is telling you to do. And everybody has a story to where what they thought they should have did in a situation backfired on them to where they regretted it. And that's just because, you know, everything is mental. You know, everything that is expressed in the world today is dealing with your mind. And for me, I just have to laugh, because Free Your Mind and Shine came to me in 2011. Like, free your mind to shine. And here I am years later with this whole system that's the full breakdown of this world that we live in, the full breakdown of every human being on this planet, and it deals with freeing your mind. And I just so happen to be designed to be a master of this knowledge. Surrendering for me is an understatement. I am a slave. I am a slave to this body. I am a slave to this life, because everything that I thought was just random happenings, or like, oh, free your mind to shine, that sounds cool, let me roll with it. And here I am, you know, and it's directly in alignment with this system that just shows up at my front door. Like, it makes you sit down. It makes you sit down. And it makes you reevaluate everything, everyone. And I'm glad that it's really as simple as just following your strategy and inner authority, because even though I'm the type of person that needs, it's like I have to know, I have to get to the bottom of things, I know that it's times where I have to just put the human design book down and just chill, you know, because there's so much to learn. And I'm getting constant stimulations from human design, from learning human design. And I'm just forever lighting up from this information. So it's easy for me to stay in it, but it's times where I just need to, my body is like, stop. I need a break. And I have to listen to it. I have to honor it, because I'm reunited with myself. I feel like there's been this whole side of me that I've been disconnected from, that I've been searching for my whole life. And now that I have found it, I've connected with it. It's like I'm getting to know myself for the first time. And I love it. I love my Aries body. I love my martyr body. I love, everything about me. And before, I was trying to figure out ways to alter all of the things that I didn't like about myself, because I simply didn't understand. Now that I understand, I know that my future is going to be so much better than what I could have ever imagined. And my relationships are going to be so much better. And being a 1-3 cross of laws, I know that anybody that comes into my life, it's like, I got to know, what's your human design? What are you? What am I dealing with? What is your frequency? What is your combination? How are you affecting me? How am I affecting you? How are you conditioning me? How am I conditioning you? It's like, I have to know. Relationships are so important. And when I look at a body graph, I can't explain it. I just know that it's built into my mechanics. But when I look at a body graph, I can feel myself being downloaded with the information of that person, to where I know things just instantly when I see, the numbers, lines, shapes, and colors. And when people reach out to me for assistance, and they tell me, they start to give me the rundown on the things that have happened in their life, the type of people they're attracting, the relationship that they're in that they're not satisfied with. All I need is, like, within seconds, I just know. If I look at their body graph, I just know exactly, what they're going to attract. And then if I have their partner's body graph, like if they're in a relationship and I have the other person's body graph, even if it's their children or whoever, it's like within 60 seconds, I can tell them something that's going to leave them stuck. Like, how did you know that? And I don't know how I know. I just know that I'm designed for this. So it's something that I'm so anxious, my mind is anxious, and my body is always ready to jump into something and go to the next thing, get to the next stimulation. There's always an eagerness for me to help people understand, because for me, it's like I get it within seconds. But these people that are having the issues and that are unaware of what has been going on mechanically, they've been living with these problems for years. And it's the driving force, to see and to hear so many just repetitive stories from different people that they just don't know their human design. Like, they don't know that everything that's happened to them is based on the mechanics. And I have found just mind-blowing information in body grafts. My father had a heart attack in 1995, and a few months ago I found his heart attack in his body graft. It's been celebrities who have passed away, and I pulled up their human design charts and I found out why. And it's like, when you see that it's a program, like the body graft is your program. I think about, when someone gets married or when someone has a funeral, when you walk into the church or whatever, they give you a program that tells you, like the opening song, and this person is going to speak, and it's a program. They tell you exactly what's going to happen. That's what this body graph is. This body graph is like everything is already written. It's already there. It's a lot to take in at times. Sometimes it's just like, oh my God, like this is. Sometimes it's times where I just want to not know any human design, anything. It's moments where it's just like, oh my God, this is just too deep. I can't take it. It's just too deep, and I can't talk to anybody about it. But I know that I got to keep going. I know that I got to keep learning this information, because it's the future. It's a lot of people in this era and generation that that aren't going to get it, and not everyone is designed to get human design. But I look forward to the children of the future whose parents understand human design and understand the importance of teaching their child their human design and raising their child based on their human design, because it's profound. And I know that I'm not going to be here, physically in this lifetime to see the effect that it's going to have on the world, but I know that while I'm here, it's my job to learn as much as I can and to teach this information as best as I can to others, because you can't have successful communities, you can't have successful groups unless you have individuals who are self-absorbed and those who are focused on doing the research and not being distracted by everyone else, so that they can master the information and bring it to the tribe, bring it to the community. Because I've been in many situations throughout life to where I've been around lots of people, and you can see how people act when they're by themselves or when it's just them and another person, and then you see how they completely act in a different way when it's a whole lot of auras around, because every aura has a different type of activation. Every aura has a different frequency. So we see it play out all the time. We see, how we're influenced, how we're conditioned by other people, and no one really understands it. We have these fixed ideas and opinions and theories, and it's all based on whatever we're designed to be. So you may have a person that believes that chicken is the best protein on the planet. Then you may have another person that thinks that pork is the best protein on the planet. And it's not always about something that someone else is doing. Sometimes a person is just designed to think a certain way and to operate a certain way. And that mixed in with other people's ideas or belief systems or conditioning on that person mixes in, and then this person is operating erratically because they never knew what their blueprint was. They never knew who they were, so that they could be aware of what is actually influencing them to act in ways that aren't really them. So then you have people that grow up and they're so used to certain conditioning agents, whether it's the parents, whether it's, certain partnerships that they've been in, and they're looking for that energy all over again. That's why you find that men attract women when men disconnect from their mothers and go out into the world. They attract women that are like their mothers, and women attract men that are like their fathers, because the parents are the first conditioning agents. So a child is brought into the world with this unique blueprint. The parents don't know. So what do? All they can do is force their design on the child. However they're designed to be, they're forcing it on the child, and the child is going to be something completely different every single time. The body knows that it's one thing, but the child grows up being forced to operate a different way by the parents or whoever are the people in that child's life for the first 7 years. So the first 7 years of everyone's life, whoever was teaching them, whoever was taking care of them, no matter how old they get, if they never learn what their original blueprint is, then they just grow up still operating as that 7-year-old. They are still playing out whatever happened in the first foundational 7 years of their life. And then, of course, after the first 7 years, after that foundation is laid, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be incorrect, then they start the next layer, the next 7 years. So people, the older people get, that's why they get stuck in habitual, toxic, negative ways, because they're trying to play out something that was never them, and we're all designed to be conditioned. But it's one thing to be conditioned and to never know how to decondition yourself once you get of a certain age. And if you have parents that have this information early, then they can see, okay, if I'm a generator mother, and I know that I have a projector son, then I'm automatically going to know that, okay, that projector son is going to always want to be in my aura, which means that he's going to think that he's a generator. So me as a mother, I'm going to need to make sure that I say, okay, Johnny, you gotta, would you invite him? Would you like to go play outside? Would you like to go do something for mommy in another room? Like, you learn how to utilize and bring the best out of your child's design by knowing it. But this is new. This is new information on the planet. There are so many possibilities, and it's children that are on the planet who are, being raised and have been raised based on their human design, and their way of operating is completely foreign to the mass consciousness. Because if you have a child that is raised the first 7 years based on who they are, that's a pure foundation, to where by the time they get 8, 9, 10 years old, they're displaying, beyond genius capabilities. Their cognition, their way of, being able to operate correctly, everything about the way that they are as a growing human being is beyond what the majority of people have seen on this planet. So one of my missions with this information is to help to bring balance to relationships and to groups, because when it comes to families, when it comes to organizations, if you got a bunch of people and you don't know who's who, you don't know who's a generator, you don't know who's a manifestor, you don't know who's a projector, you don't know who's a reflector, and everyone is just mingling and mixing, it's like there's no order. It's like you're going to see that the patterns are still moving in a certain way, and certain people are linking up in the groups, and other people, you see it in schools all the time. You see cliques, you see groups of teenagers that branch off. You have this group that likes this type of stuff, and that group over there that does this. That's because the bodies are moving based on their geometries, but the minds aren't in tune with that. So it's a lot of chaos that still comes with that, but you still see how your body was always in control. It's just that your mind was unaware that the reason you were drawn to this group of people or this person is because of your geometry. So for children to know their geometry, for grown-ups to get into this information, to understand the situations that have happened in their life, it's like just the way that relationships and groups of people can come together to truly honor and love and respect other people is like on a whole nother level. And that's something I really look forward to. I look forward to putting together groups and organizing them and helping people to understand before they become judgmental of the person. What happens if you have a group of people and you're designed a certain way, and you see another person who's doing something that is completely foreign to you? The first thing that you're going to think is, why do they act like that? Or why do they do that? You might get offended by them. You might feel threatened by them. You might be scared of them. You're going to feel this resistance because you don't know what they are. It's almost like everyone is a different type of animal. Everyone is a different, we're all the human species, but everyone is a different type of branch off of the human species. So you can only think and operate based on you. You can only be your geometry. I can't be a 6'2". I can't be a 2'4". I can only be a 1'3". It's certain things that are in my geometry that make me who I am, and I can't be anything else. I can experience other things from other people being in my aura, or from the planets transiting and activating certain gates and certain channels in my design. But as far as what my blueprint is, I can only be that. So I'm only going to think as a 1-3 manifesting generator, cross of laws. That's my natural way of thinking and operating. So we've all done it to where we've seen someone so different to where we punish them or burn them at the stake or talk bad about them or bullied them or just did all types of negative things because you simply didn't understand them. And if you're going to have a family, if you're going to have an organization, if you're going to build a team, if you're going to build a business, anything that deals with multiple people, if you have access to something that's this detailed, that can show you who a person is before you ever have to see them, before you ever have to talk to them, it will be very beneficial to utilize this information. before allowing someone into your business or into your group or into your family, into your life, period. Because everyone is a stranger. Like, your own family members can be strangers because you don't know what you're dealing with. And we see that all the time. We see siblings who hate each other. We see parents that hate their children, children that hate their parents. We see people in relationships that hate each other. And for whatever reason, they stay together. And they may not even know it's because they're stuck. It's their geometries that are just stuck. But they're literally destroying each other. Another just huge thing when it comes to understanding relationships, understanding how you condition other people and how other people condition you, is sleeping in your own aura. I mean, that is something that's going to be one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do, especially if you're in a relationship. And I know so many people that I know their bodies are screaming to be released. Because every single night when your body is supposed to sleep in its own aura, your body is supposed to lay down by itself, not have any interference from anybody else, so that it can regenerate within its own aura, is people that have been for years never giving their body a break. Because of my design, I've experienced being by myself most of my life. So that's something that, I've had experience with sleeping in other people's auras, but not as much as other people. And now it's been circumstances where I've had to sleep in other people's auras, and it's like I'm extra sensitive to it now. And it is the most uncomfortable. When you're used to sleeping in your own aura, it is so uncomfortable to sleep in someone else's aura. To wake up with somebody inside of you. Because that's literally what happens. Like, just you walking past somebody on the street, it doesn't matter if you know them or not. You all go inside each other. Whatever your design is, in that second that you all walk past each other, your design goes inside the body of that person, and their design goes inside of your body. So just in that second, you are imprinted with everything that is going on with that person. They could have just had a fight. They could have just, experienced something super traumatic. They could have been through all types of stuff. You just got imprinted in that second just from walking past a stranger on the street. So just imagine what's happening to you when you go to work every day and you're in people's auras. Then you come home and you got a family, you got children, you got a husband and a wife. It's like your body never gets a break, and your body is designed to regenerate every single night by itself. And I mean, that is some of the most important information in human design, because you can never be yourself if you're sleeping in somebody's aura. You can never be fully yourself. You can never be 100% yourself, ever, if you're sleeping in somebody else's aura. And so many people have resistance to that. But if you think about it, it's like, what does it matter? Your sleep. It's not even like you're awake to be there to like really hold the person. And I know a lot of couples that they want to feel somebody's skin on them before they go to sleep so that they can feel okay going to sleep. But when they wake up, it's like somebody is on the other side of the bed, flipped over. It's like the bodies have naturally tried to separate throughout the night, because the bodies are alive. The bodies are always alive. Your personality is not there when you're asleep. So the bodies are like doing their own thing while you're asleep. And it's like, get off me. Like, I'm trying to be in my own aura. Sometimes people even end up out of the bed. Why is that? It's because the body knows better. It's the minds that say, oh, we have to sleep in the same bed because if we don't, then that means that we don't love each other. It's all a program. It's all conditioning. It's like when you understand how important it is to sleep in your own aura, and you actually start to do it, if you're a person who is not used to that, you're going to feel the difference. It's your mind that's like, oh, well, I just want to feel their touch. You can, even if you fall asleep with a person, set an alarm or something so that at least during the night you get up and go into a separate room. There's ways to wean yourself off of sleeping in somebody else's aura. I know generators and projectors that are in relationships. A lot of generators and projectors end up in relationships, creating families, and it's like a stuck situation. And I just think about how the projector aura is this penetrating aura. It's this aura that goes into your chest like a big needle and then absorbs you. So here you have this generator that's an enveloping aura. It pulls everything in. So it has this projector stuck, and then this projector is in the generator sucking out the energy of of the generator. So what is ultimately happening is that there is physical deterioration that's going on just from sleeping in somebody's aura. If you're a generator, you're the only type that has the sacral center defined. So you're the only type that has the life force energy available. If you're in a relationship with a manifestor, a projector, or a reflector, then you are naturally overpowering them because you have the most powerful energy on the planet by having a defined sacral center. So you have your sacral center inside of this being whose body is not designed for that type of power. And that's just one example. You could have two projectors that create a defined sacral, that create a defined heart center, that create, define other centers, and it's overpowering aspects of each one of the designs that they don't have. They're not designed to have that. And when you think about how deep this is, that this is shortening your lifespan by not sleeping alone, this is major. This is really, really important for people to understand, because it's not going to destroy your relationship. If you become aware of this information, and then you think about your children, or you think about the fact that I want to live a long, healthy life. I want to have a physical body that's operating correctly. If that's something that's of interest to you, and you take in this information, then you realize that, wow, I have to break some habits. I have to break some patterns, and both parties have to be understanding of that. This is really logical information. It's just about being yourself. It's about loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with knowing the real you and making adjustments so that you can bring the best out of yourself and those around you. I could go on forever about this, but relationships are just very, very important to me, because I know firsthand how to make all the worst mistakes in relationships. I know firsthand how to have short-term relationships, and to not know how to have long-lasting relationships up until now. My whole life has been about not being able to have a long-term relationship. not being able to have a long-term friendship. And now, for me to have discovered something that will allow me to have the right type of relationships with the right type of people, and to be able to have long-term relationships and still be myself, still be someone who has to make the bond and break the bond. It's like the fact that I can still honor my design, honor my blueprint, is very important to me. And to experience releasing judgment towards others. It's funny for me because being a martyr, all martyrs on the planet get punished. We're designed for it. We're designed to make mistakes. So when we make mistakes, anyone who's not a martyr, and even those who are martyrs, are going to punish that martyr that made the mistake, because it's inevitable. You know, just like you have heretics. Heretics are designed to be the savior. So you have all of these heretics on the planet that are always trying to fulfill other people's needs and wishes. And when they aren't able to fulfill them, then they get burned at the stake. You know, so these are just the mechanics of how we're designed to be. And for me, it's like I've been punished so much throughout my life. To this day, I'm getting punished. And it's because people don't understand me. People don't know me. And it's like now I can take the punishment and just say, well, I just gotta work harder at being myself and sharing this information and learning more about me and putting it out there. You know, I want people to know the type of person I am. I want them to know my design. So it won't be any surprises. Like if I can give you a heads up that, hey, this is me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's happened my whole life. That's what it's going to be. Then when it happens, the person isn't looking at me in this disgusting way or looking at me as if I'm just the worst person on the planet. But it's happened to everyone. And it's just simply because nobody knows what they're dealing with. Relationships. It's so important to know who you're in a relationship with, so that you can have more compassion, have more understanding, and operate better. If you know that you're dealing with a projector, then you know that you have to invite them. If you know that you're dealing with a manifester, when they inform you of something, when they tell you something, you don't have to take it the wrong way, because it's like, oh, you're a manifester, so of course you're going to inform me. If you know someone is a reflector, you already know that they're going to give you back whatever you put out. If you're dealing with a generator, you know that they need to respond. So when you're aware from the mechanical standpoint, then it brings a whole new level of balance and harmony to everyone. And the world needs that now. Like right now. The world definitely needs that. Families need it. Relationships need it. Children need it. Schools need it. People need to know mechanics. People need to know who they are. Why they need to know why. And they can find out why by knowing who they are. It's changed a lot, actually. I have no activations at all in my solar plexus. I don't have any gates from the root center, from the sacral center, or from the heart center going towards the solar plexus. So that whole right side of my chart is white. I grew up in a house with my dad, and he had the channel of mating. I grew up taking in and amplifying all of his emotions, all of his energy. I remember the consistent destabilizing feeling, especially when he would drop to the pain part of his mechanical emotional wave. But once I went away to college, once I left the house, it was weird. There was this freedom that I felt. You know, I felt this sense of relief, and I never understood it until now. But the solar plexus is, especially now, like when I get around a defined solar plexus, whether it's through a person or through the planets transiting to create either the channel of community or one of those channels, it's not fun for me at all. And I know, like, especially if I'm by myself and I wake up, it's been times where I have woke up in a rage, a full-blown rage. And why am I in this rage? And automatically I think, let me check the transits for the day. And I get on my computer, check the transit. Sure enough, I got the channel of community activated. So not only do I have like the solar plexus defined, but I have my open heart center defined as well. So my emotions are being powered by the ego, being powered by the will. And I'm just so glad that I know, because even though I still have to experience the emotions, the up and downness of it, it's like I'm just so glad that while I'm going through the uncomfortable feeling of it, that I can know that I'm not going to succumb to this. You know, I'm not going to be destabilized forever from this. Being around it through other people. Now that's funny. I wish I could record myself. I wish I could see myself in a group setting. It was times where I took pictures at clubs, and I would just thinking back at how my body moved, I was hijacked. My heart center, my solar plexus was completely hijacked, because the way that I was moving, it's like, who has put 10 extra batteries in your back? You know, because that willpower, when that willpower gets in my body and defines my heart, it's like I'm already a manifesting generator with the channel of charisma and that whole integration channel. And it's like I'm already busy enough. So to get willpower behind it, oh man. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to see me go. And as soon as I'm out of it, it's like I'm looking real stupid in the face, because it's gone. The willpower is gone. That drive is gone. You know, same thing with the emotions. Like, I can go from that rage, and then all of a sudden the planet moves out and I'm back to an open solar plexus, and it's just like I have no emotions all over again. You know, I'm naturally non-emotional, and to see myself go from feeling all of this emotional stuff to it's just gone. That's why I said I am more than surrendered. I am a slave. I am a slave to the helplessness of my body, and the fact that as long as I'm here, I'm going to be feeling all types of energies, all types of transits, all types of auras, but I know how to get back into my own energy. And that's what's most important. I know how to regenerate on my own, and you know, I know how to move. I know how to listen to my inner authority and follow my strategy. So no matter what's going on, I just know that I'm going to be okay because I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how I'm supposed to operate based on my design, based on my authority. So it's a journey, and I am looking forward to living the rest of my life bettering myself through becoming more correct and seeing how that ties into all of the other things that I'm going to be doing in life and all of the other gifts and the aspects of spirituality that I'm involved in. Like, everything is going to be heightened through me knowing this foundational information and operating correctly based on who I am as an individual. I'm loving life on a whole new level these days, and I look forward to more people coming into my life. I look forward to doing more human designs, and becoming more secure in this knowledge, because I've jumped the gun. I got so excited in the beginning stages, and this is still a beginning stage, but I got so excited that I've shared a lot with a lot of people. I'll tell them one thing, and then the next day I'll learn a whole nother section and be like, dang, I wish I would have waited before I told you that, because now I know so much more to share with you, because I just want to give this information to everyone. But as powered as my energy is, my strategy and my inner authority is balancing me out on a whole nother level, which I truly do appreciate and love.
To learn, fantasies, but like the